What's going on YouTube? Ryan and Alex back from Dopamon again. Today we are talking about one of the first rosters that have been officially announced for the 2022 World Junior Hockey Championships happening this December, starting on the 26th. And today we're going to talk about Finland. Finland's one of the teams that announced their full roster. Much of this team is intact from their bronze win against Russia last year. No Anton Lundell, which is a huge loss because he's killing it in Florida in the NHL.
hmm
But they still have a lot of pieces to be a huge medal favorite. Last time they won gold was in 2019 against the U.S. And we'll start off their 2022 World Junior Championships against Germany on the 26th of December, and we'll be in Group A along with Canada, Czech Republic, Germany, and Austria. If you enjoy this video, have any
Yeah, of
other.
course. We have, talked about two other national teams, junior
Yes,
rosters so far, Canada and the US. Go check them out. And of course, if you do like this content, drop a like and subscribe.
absolutely. Yeah, the Canada US roster were the preliminary rosters we talked about. They
Yes,
haven't
the
quite
preliminary.
whittled down their choices to bring, but Finland has, and we'll talk
Mhm.
about them now. So in net, we got Blomqvist, Jatkola, and Meriläinen, and I apologize if I butcher anyone's name. On defense,
We will.
Aleksi Heimosalmi, Rami Mata, Topi Niemelä, Petri Nurmi, Ville Teivanen, Casper Puto, Ruben Rafkin, and Eemil Viro.
And here, I'll take over and embarrass myself this time.
Yes,
For the
please.
forwards, we have Samuel Helenius, Roni Hirvonen, Roby Järventie, Oliver Kapanen, Joakim Kemell, Ville Koivunen, Brad Lambert, Juuso Mäenpää, Joel Mata, Olli Ikupeteri, Sami Päivärinta, Aatu Räty, Casper Simon, and Cal Väisänen. Apologies if I butchered any of them. We did try our best, and that's everybody on the list.
Yeah, the only Canadian name there is because he's part Canadian is Brad Lambert. We know how to
hmm
pronounce that one. Anywho, starting off with the goalies. The guy who is going to be their main guy, Alex. Who's that going to be?
Blomqvist,
Yeah, Joel Blomqvist.
easy starter.
Yeah, is their guy. In 7 games with Karpat and Liga, he has a .03 goals against average and a 980 save percentage with 3 shutouts.
hmm
He's absolutely incredible. 6'2". He was a Pittsburgh Penguin draft pick, 52nd overall, 2020. Quiet Finnish goaltender, doesn't have a lot of movement, very good in that. And yeah, look at these numbers specifically. I know it's only in 7 games, but oh my god. Uh,
Yeah,
Incredible start with Karpat and Liga. Um, his backup is an Ottawa Senators pick, or his most likely backup.
yeah. I like Leevi or Leevi Meriläinen as the backup role. He's killing it in the OHL right now. He had a really good season in the Liga last year. Showed he can stand up to men, and I think that he's the easy pick. Ottawa really got a steal for him. I think it was third round. Yeah, looks like he could be a good guy. And that leaves Juha Jatkola as the third. I think he might be the one to not get to be the third there. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, he probably is going to be the third. It'll be Levi Merlane as the backup for sure. On defense, their main guy from last year, and will be the number one defenseman again, the guy that they rely heavily on, the guy who won the best defenseman award, I believe, in last year's tournament. Topi
Yep,
Niemelä has 24 points in 30 games of Liga this year, um,
leading in D.
leading for D as a 19-year-old and is a third round pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. 5'11 D, right hand shot is
And
their bona fide number one.
yeah, I had him ranked in the first round for the 2020 NHL mock draft, NHL entry draft, and in our mock draft. I'm quite disappointed that he went to Toronto and not Ottawa. He's a killer offensive defenseman and with an underrated defensive game. I think that's the way he scores, everybody just calls him an offensive D, but like he's a fully complete, player, and I love it about him.
Yeah, it's perfect. He's a great defenseman for Finland. Moving on, another guy, very good as well, is Eemil Viro. Eemil Viro was a third round pick in 2020, Detroit Red
Just a
Wings.
few after.
Just a,
Topi Niemelä himself.
yeah, just a few after, and is playing for the TPS in Liga, and all these guys basically, I think they're all Liga players. But yeah, he's another good defenseman. Should get some playing time. A little bit smaller guy, but he doesn't really play like it. I know. A little bit hard. He's 6 feet tall, but he's not like a big defenseman. But he's pretty sturdy back there, and will be a big part of their defense core. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
no, he's always had a huge physical competitive edge over his peers. In like the U20 league, was always able to play against adults. I think that's why he was drafted a little bit higher than where I think his skill set is at. But at the U20 level, that's really going to show, I think, that, being physically superior to your Ps really matters in the U20s, and he's going to be a huge, solid force on their back line there.
Another man, another kid who was on last year's team, I believe, Casper Puito, fifth round pick by the Florida Panthers in 2020. 2020, a good year for Finland's drafting draft history. 27 games, 6 points, and Kyle Powell. Yeah, he's another very good defenseman that they'll rely heavily on just because of his experience in this tournament. He's a stable part of their defense core. Not very fast, but seems to have always good positioning in his own end. So, Finland likes to play that that structured game, especially on defense, and
Hmm.
they'll rely heavily on Kasper here. The last defenseman I want to talk about, Alex, I don't know about you, is Aleksi Heimosalmi.
I have one more after. But I like Aleksi Heimosalmi. He's an incredible skater. With the puck, he just skates through people, slips through like a grease monkey. I've seen him just like people try and hit him, and he's just nope, gets out of the way and gets the puck on the net. He does incredible things. I'm just surprised he wasn't drafted in the first round. Seeing the way he can move the puck.
Yeah, 44th overall, like I said, in second round by Carolina. They might have a steal there. Who's the other guy you want to talk about?
Vil Otavainen. He is big. 6'4", I believe. He might be I think he is the biggest D on the roster, and at this size, at this age, sorry, I think the size does kind of matter. I've seen him score a hat trick at the U20 in Finland, and he looks like an adult out there, and he's going to be a huge force, literally to reckon with, I think, and he'll really fit that D structure that you mentioned before.
Yeah, and fourth round pick from the Seattle Kraken.
Hmm. Hmm.
See that very often. Moving on to the forwards, I think. There's a number of forwards, very good forwards on this team, but they will rely on a couple for their offense. One of them is Roni Hirvonen. Small player, 5'9", is a center, but might play wing because of the center depth on this team. 59th overall, second round pick, Toronto in 2020. That's the year they picked Hirvonen and Niemelä in the same draft, one round apart. 16 points in 28 games, league this year, and he'll be incredibly dependent on their top six for offense, I think, this year. The next guy I want to talk about is an Ottawa Senators draft pick, Roby Järventie.
Roby Järventie. Yeah, Ottawa really shocked people with this pick. But it looks like it's a good one. He's gotten a elite offensive instinct, and the team's kind of falling off a cliff right now in Belleville. But he is one of the few bright spots. He's starting to put it together, and I've really liked what he's brought.
Yeah, 9 points, 3 goals in 20 games at the AHL level, which is pretty good for a teenager.
Yeah,
Um,
most of these kids haven't come over yet. They're not ready for the AHL even, and he is, and he's putting it together. He's gonna get a call up by the end of this season for sure.
Absolutely. Another guy that is going to be huge in our top six is Casper Simontaival. So another small winger, same size as Roby Järventie. Third round pick, 66th overall by the LA Kings. Uh, has 6 points in 15 games spread over for Kyle Powell and Luco in Liga. And yeah, is going to be a huge. He's a sturdy player. He's 5'9", but he's actually very strong,
Hmm.
from what I've seen, and is going to be a huge part of this
Yeah, he's
team
got
if
a
they.
complete full game, and he's there's a reason why he was drafted as high as he was above a bunch of guys who are playing pretty well, and I agree, he's going to be a huge part of this team.
Let's talk about some funner guys, some draft eligible players that are on this team.
Hmm.
One of them
Okay.
you like a lot in
Ooh,
Joakim
I
Kemell.
love Joakim Kemell. He is an incredible scoring threat every single shift. He in the 5 games he's played since coming back from an injury, he hasn't scored a single point. But I feel like once he reaches 100% again, he's going to be back to topping the SM Liga scoring charts because he was leading the SM Liga and the adult top Finnish league in points and goals at one point, and he kind of fell off. Obviously, he's a 17-year-old. It's not gonna stick, but it's just incredible, and I definitely think he's a top 5 pick for the 2022 NHL Entry Draft. Spoiler alert, top 3 pick.
Yeah, he's gonna sneak into the I think the top five. Another guy who's a top pick and has fallen off a little bit considerably. Once thought of as like the definite number two behind Shane Wright, at least a couple of years ago, is Brad Lambert. Brad Lambert right now is eighth in consolidated rankings. It says here by Elite Prospects.
That's
Um,
where I have him too.
yeah, is 6 points in 24 games in Liga. And we'll see how Kemell and Lambert are used in this tournament because historically the younger undrafted kids aren't relied on as heavily as guys who are older, drafted 19,
Hmm.
20-year-olds. And obviously Brad Lambert and Kemell are still 17, turning
Yes,
18
yeah.
years old next year. So actually Brad Lambert is turning
Hmm.
18 soon. But
Very soon, in a week. Yeah.
yeah,
I do like Kemmel's chances to make the team because he is scoring at a ridiculous pace. But with Brad Lambert, he is a guy who just has all the skills but hasn't put it together. He's only scored a little bit. I'm a firm believer in not overvaluing how well a player does in their draft year and try to look at the bigger picture of who they are. That's why I still have him in my top 10. But I don't think he's gonna make it this year. I think he's the guy to get dropped, and it's tough. That's
yeah,
tough.
it's
But
tough. A couple other guys I want to talk about. Samuel Helenius. Samuel Helenius is a big boy. He's 6'6". He's a draft pick of the Los Angeles Kings, 59th overall, second round. He is the son of former NHL goon, let's call him, Sammy
Mhm.
Helenius. Not a goon himself, but he's a tough forechecker with some
Oh yeah.
offensive ability, and he's big. He uses his size, and he'll be incredibly important for the forechecking ability of Team Finland against the tougher teams like Canada. Like this team doesn't have the offensive firepower to really compete, in a shootout, in a back and forth shootout with teams like Canada, the U.S., Russia, and Sweden. But they'll need a guy like this to really play that role and help grind down in the corners Canadian defense
Hmm.
and other
And
other
another
countries.
guy who I think can do that, center Yol Mata. He's a really big. He's defensive first. He's a center. He plays for the University of Vermont right now. He's one of the few players not playing in Finland. And yeah, against high octane forwards from teams like Canada or the U.S. And with Finland's more defensive structure, I think he's a guy who could maybe crack it playing that strong defensive role.
Two more players I want to talk about. One I just want to mention, Oliver Kapanen. Oliver Kapanen is the cousin of Kasperi Kapanen, which is kind of fun. Um, uncle, his father is Chemo, his uncle is Sammy. Yeah, just cool. He was a
Mhm.
2021 pick by the Canadians last year. Still a very good player in his own right. I'm not trying to downgrade his play and compare him to his relatives, but he's going to be a big part of I think the bottom six part of this team, and he's very
Mhm.
fast like his family, and he has good offensive instincts. So Oliver Kapanen's going to be a big part too.
One
Last,
more I want to just drop
oh
before we go on to the very last one,
yeah,
saving the best for last. There's Vil Koivunen. He's got a really high offensive kind of player. You mentioned earlier, they don't have much of that. He's a guy who can play on the wing. This team has a lot of centers.
yeah,
I feel like he can kind of slide in there somewhere and provide, that kind of middle six, maybe bottom six kind of scoring that they need. He might be the guy. Keep your eye out for him to score a big winning, kind of game-winning goal.
Yeah, for sure. And the guy you alluded to, and I think personally is going to have an absolutely incredible tournament, is Aatu
Mm-hmm.
Räty, and was just dropped, man. Dropped last
Mm-hmm.
year's. I thought for sure he was going to
And
get in the
should have.
first round, but the general consensus is he wasn't living up to the hype, and he dropped all the way to 52nd overall into the New
Mm-hmm.
York Islanders, and is having a kind of
Which
a resurgence season.
amazing. He has had an amazing year. He is I like to put it, a former future first overall pick.
Yeah,
And there definitely should have been more consideration. You can't just look at, one season and be like, well, he didn't do it, that's it. Like
yeah,
he's gonna be the number one D for Finland. He's gonna come over and he's gonna kill it. It is a shame that he was. It's disrespectful almost, for him to have dropped that far.
yeah. And I'm gonna take partial credit. I said it. I said it a bunch of times during our live
Hmm.
stream.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
needed to get out of Karpat specifically. He the way the team plays is not suited to his style, and as soon as he gets to Ukraine, he has 13 points in 11 games.
Hmm.
So, you know, little pat on my back there. But I think he's going to
Maybe
be
the
there.
same for Brad Lambert. Maybe he
Yeah,
needs to leave JYP or the team he's on, and
yeah.
we'll
Just
see.
sometimes, it's not suited to his style of play. But that's it. That's Finland's lineup. Finland's going to be good. Finland's always good in this tournament. It's always interesting to see these kids and what they can bring, and they play as a team very well, and they have to in order to be successful. And I think they have a very good shot at a medal.
Ooh.
I think they'll sneak in to a bronze medal if they play well and they pick their teams to beat. I don't know if they're going to beat Canada in the pool in Group A. I think they'll be second. I think they're firmly second behind Canada in Group A. But yeah, what do you think, Alex?
I I think they're gonna I think they're gonna go for gold.
They're
I
going for
think
gold.
but I think that the team they have is so good, and I think it's underrated. Like when you look at them one by one, you're like, holy crap, this guy, holy, oh my God, this guy. Like it is just a like look, we're talking about like 17-year-olds who don't usually make it, and this one was leading his league in goals in adult league. Again, this is just it's unheard of, like Finland being this good. And I think this is their year to go for gold. So
Yeah, let us know what you think of Team Finland, where you think they'll place, who you like on a team, who is maybe left out of the team. We didn't really go over that. We didn't really
mm.
find anyone huge that was left out. A couple of guys from last year, but we like this team. Let us know what you think. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more dope content. Peace.